Hey funnel builders, Mike Killen here from sellyourservice.co.uk. It is a hot one here today. I want to talk to you about what you should call your marketing funnel business. So naming your marketing funnel business. Now I've been wanting to do this video for a while. Here's where things instantly get tricky. Everyone seems to know what doesn't make a good name for a business. No one seems to have an idea on what does make a good name for a business. So I want to go through a few principles that will essentially make naming a business not that important. Sorry, any branding people out there. But also, secondly, the reason why you don't like the names that you come up with. So when we start a business, we usually think about, and if we do things the way that we want to, like instinctually, we do two things. First of all, we think of a logo, then we think of a name. By this point, we usually haven't thought about our mission. We haven't thought about the vision for the business and how we're going to change the world. We haven't thought about our vehicles, so how we deliver results. We haven't thought about our position within the business. We haven't thought about the values that our business has. It becomes very easy because we think, oh, I've got a really snappy name for a business. And we think, right, well, I'll go ahead and use that. The name for your business should be one of the last things you consider. It should be one of the last things you think about. And there's a lot of different schools of thought on what you should call your business. Some people say, oh, you should use, it does what it says on the tin. So increaseconversionmarketing.com or whatever. And people are really quick to say, oh, this is the current trend, or you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that. I believe that none of that matters, because the roadblock that you're going to face is, first of all, you won't like immediately the name that jumps to mind and you think about. And when we settle on a name, we go, I'm not so sure about it. Then what happens is, as we get used to that name, you'll want to change it. Okay, so your business will go through changes anyway. People are, like I said, really quick to talk about what does and doesn't make a really good name, but they actually focus mainly on what doesn't make a good name. The reason I don't think it matters is because the work you put behind the name and the brand that you build is what gives the name meaning. It's not the name that necessarily makes it easier to create a business. It all really boils down, in my opinion, to where you want to position yourself within your business. For example, if you are Mike Killen, for example, it makes sense to call your business Mike Killen Marketing or Mike Killen. If you are positioning yourself as the influencer within a space and scaling out your impact, that's a big difference compared to Conversion Effects, for example. So Conversion Effects was a business we had a long time ago. It didn't pan out. Another business we had was called Profit Explosion, Dynamic Profit Explosion, something like that. And it's really easy to put like kind of different names together and think, oh yeah, this is really clever, I like this. If you don't put the work behind the business, the name doesn't mean anything. A lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't put your name as the business because you're supposed to grow out of a business, right? The idea is we want to sell a business, and we can't sell a business that doesn't have, that has someone behind it. I completely agree with that. My argument, though, is if you want to position yourself as an influencer and position yourself as a scalable source of authority, then you absolutely need to use yourself and your own name as your business. If you're planning on making transitions through different areas and you genuinely want to position yourself as an expert and authority, you want speaking gigs, you want to write books, you want to create courses, yes, you want to run a marketing agency, look at what the big guys have done. Look at what Casey Neistat has done. Look at what Gary Vaynerchuk has done. Look at what Tony Robbins has done. They themselves are the authority. They're the spokesperson. They are the mascot for their own business. They have a host of other businesses underneath them, such as Unlimited Success, VaynerX, VaynerMedia. I off the top of my head, I can't remember what Casey Neistat's studio is called. They have a series of businesses underneath themselves as an influencer. So the first question I think you need to ask when naming your own business is, do you want to be in the position as an influencer? Do you want people to follow you? Great. If not, and you want people to follow your business, you then have to think about, okay, well, if I want my business to be sold in 10 years' time, it has to be a scalable platform. And a lot of people talk about like the ideal business name is a business name that becomes a verb. So you ask for it and you say, oh, I'm going to Google this, or can I have a Coke, even when you mean Pepsi, or even just another type of soda or fizzy drink. And that's all well and good, but people forget that Google didn't think, oh, we're going to name our business because we want people to use it as a verb. They named it because Google is a number with I think it's 1 million zeros behind it, or 100 zeros, I can't remember, because they wanted to show that number of results on their search engine. The name has to essentially reflect what it is within your business that you push forward every single day. What is it that you push out every single day? What is it that you do and provide and deliver every single day? Some people are really quick to go down the routes of things like solutions or marketing. I think those words suck, personally. Again, that's my opinion. I mean, look, I'm wearing a MailChimp t-shirt. MailChimp is a dumb name for a business. I love the name, but it is a dumb name for a business, and yet it's worked. It hasn't worked instantly because people instantly knew what MailChimp does, though. It works because they've put an enormous amount of effort behind their business in pushing their brand name out there and contributing huge levels of content and customer service behind a delivery of their product. Now, to them, MailChimp might have a meaning, but to the customer, it has a very different meaning. Same with Amazon. When everyone talks about Amazon being like, oh, because they wanted like this huge width and breadth of services and things, that's not true. The reason Amazon is called Amazon originally is because search engine rankings used to be based on alphabetized and alphabetical order. And now it's kind of transitioned to this, from A to Z. They have the smile, they have the logo. Amazon River, obviously an enormous level volume of stuff. People forget Amazon just used to sell books. So that when they were called that, it was the effort put behind their business that pushed that name out to a place where people began to recognize it. Here's what's important. It doesn't matter what you call your business if your business model sucks. If you are delivering the work, a lot of people like to say, well, I'm going to give my business the name of Conversion Effects, but I'm still delivering all the work. I'm still the technician in the business. I'm not an entrepreneur. I like to call myself an entrepreneur, but I'm not really an entrepreneur. I will still be delivering the marketing funnel behind the business. What you have there is the worst of both worlds. So you have a business name that no one can get behind because you're not spending enough time pushing that brand out. But on the other hand, you're also constricting everything you do to your own self. So you're trying to individually be an influencer and do all the work and be seen, but you're putting it behind a brand name. You're having the worst of both worlds. If you want to use a name that's not you and you don't want to be an influencer, your business has to be a scalable, rapidly scalable platform. It has to follow my 3 rules in my book, From Single to Scale. Can you receive 1,000 orders tomorrow and handle it? Can it be delivered by somebody else? Is the process repeatable? If your business doesn't deliver along those 3 rules, it doesn't matter what you call your business because it's never going to be in a position to sell anyway. So you have to think about all these things before you realize this is what I want to call the business. A lot of people, and this, I think people don't admit this as often as they should. They think about the name of the business before they even think about what it is they want to sell. They're like, yeah, I really like the name Funnel Click Masters. I think that'd be really good. Okay, what does it do? We build marketing funnels. But what do you do? Not what is it you deliver? What do you do? What do you help people do? There's a few things like the telephone test, which to me is a pretty good one. Can you call someone up, say, hey, this is Mike Killen from Killen.io, or sell your service? And they'll go, yeah, okay, written that down. Fantastic. Thanks very much. If you have to explain a name, there was a company I used to work for. I'll say the name. They're called KCOM, right? It used to be Kingston Communications. But when they sent the email to people, KCOM, people were like, how do I pronounce this? KCOM? KCOM, and that's what we'd be able to say. Hey, is that Mike from KCOM? What in the hell is? Oh, you mean KCOM? Yeah. So there's a huge amount of problems, and big businesses still fuck this up massively. Nike, named after the I want to say Roman god Nike, is an outstanding example as a runner and as an athlete. Yeah, he represents everything, and they could sell that business on, but they also understood that it had to be a level of scalability behind it before they could move on. As a funnel business, you have to decide whether you want to be an influencer. If you want to be an influencer in a niche, in a space, and become a category leader, become a category king, and have books and courses and YouTube content and podcasts and all that kind of shit, you're better off promoting yourself and having a bunch of businesses underneath you, such as a media company, a funnel company, a production company, a publishing company, and all this kind of stuff underneath, because you yourself are pushing all that work out and you're pushing it to platforms that scale. Yes, you can't sell your brand name, but I'd imagine if you're setting it up in that way, you can absolutely sell all the media companies underneath. The big thing about selling a business, though, is that you want to be in a position in 10 years' time where you don't want to sell a business. Something that was told me a long time ago is, do you want to be in the position of buying businesses, or do you want to be in the position of selling a business? Now, if someone approached me and said, Mike, I want to sell your service for $5 million or $25 million or whatever the 4x EBITDA is, I'd go, yeah, that's actually fantastic. I would definitely do that, right? But the reality is it's very difficult for me to continue building this brand of Michael Killen when I don't have a platform to be able to use. If I was able to sell my business, then that's a very different question from if I'm able to buy my business. But I have to build this naming convention up and build up this brand to a position where I want to be sold. And chances are, if I've built it up to the position where I want to be sold, I don't want to sell it. It's a funny paradox that happens. You often don't want to sell a business that's profitable, and it's profitable because you put so much work behind it. You put the work behind it, which is push that name to profitability, and people recognize it as a brand name. But because you're profitable, you don't want to sell it. So it's this ongoing cycle. A lot of businesses feel that they can call themselves a generic brand name, and that's what's going to make them sellable, and that's not the case. I think I've kind of repeated myself a few times here, but at its core, you have to understand, what do you want to do with the business? Do you want to be the influencer, or are you going to deliver the work? If you're going to deliver the work, you're never going to be able to sell it anyway, so call it whatever the fuck you want, because no one's going to want to buy it. If you want to seem much bigger than you are, have media, have marketing, have click, have whatever that kind of stuff is. Don't follow the things like Lytics, like Funalytics or Clickalytics. Or Clickly or Funnily or any of that kind of shit. Don't worry about that. Think about what it is that you want to deliver to the customer every single day. Wouldn't you know, I help people sell their service. So the business is called Sell Your Service. Now, I've dug myself into a little bit of a rut already, and I'm having to now build up a personal brand. I've got Killen.io coming out, I don't know, whenever. I think it's like still in the building stages. So I have to now build myself out as an influencer and have all these products underneath me and services and platforms underneath me, such as Sell Your Service and Beaver Funnels and our agency and things like this. But I'm building myself out and up into this space as an expert and authority. That's where I want to go. And looking back, maybe I should have done that earlier. If you want to build a business where it's a brand name that's like, Codific or something like that, or Funnel Profit Mastermind, or whatever it is, whatever the business is, and you don't want to be behind it, you have to make sure that the business is scalable. The name is almost irrelevant. The model is what has to work. Thanks very much, guys. I'm Mike from Sell Your Service. I hope I wasn't ranting away too much there. I've probably got a couple of videos either side of me. Go ahead and check those out to do with running a marketing funnel business. I've probably got how to create content for your customers on one of them, and also stop buying software because it's not going to make you rich. In the meantime, let me know in the comments below if there was anything in particular that you really enjoyed about this video, or what you're going to name your business, or any naming techniques that you've learned. Other than that, I'll speak to you later. Thanks very much for your time. Keep building those funnels.